Okay, as a My Hero Academia fan, we're eating very good this recent episode. With Vincent Chansar coming back and animating this breathtaking scene of Bakugo finally awakening the second level to his quirk and taking on All For One. Makes me very happy and fulfilled that they gave our boy Bakugo, a lot of credit and adapted it right. But I just can't help but think, the story kind of didn't know where to place Bakugo. So let me get into it. Because in the beginning, they created him as the peak rival for Deku, right? They made him gifted, not only physically, but he was also very intelligent, okay? Him and Deku go ahead and get drafted into UA, right? The rest is history. The crazy thing is I feel like the author himself kind of just pushed this story way too fast. Because in my opinion, this could have easily been like a generational run. They could have had years of My Hero Academia content if they wanted to just go the route of like, the comics, classic comics, specifically like a One Piece or Spider-Man or Superman or Justice League. They could have easily set this up because they had it. They had it all. But Bakugo's character arc, right, was very intriguing because he had essentially learned humility. He needed to learn how to work together. And then he also had to learn how to believe in himself when he realized he's not the biggest fish in the pond anymore, right? To me, it was like a total mistake having this guy fight the #1 big bad supervillain, which I guess wasn't. It was really Shigaraki. But at the same time, it's like, this should have been Deku. This should have been Deku the whole story. Why are we even talking about Bakugo? Why not just branch off and make him his own series? And that's kind of like the whole situation I'm talking about. It doesn't feel like Bakugo really had a good delivery in the end because he was essentially aimless to start with. Like, his character himself was rival, turned friend, turned companion, turned into, competitor, and it kind of just felt like they were circling over and over and over again, where he should have just been a Sasuke, someone who just went on and did their own thing, made their own impact. They could have even went even further and just created a whole manga around him. In my opinion, they could have done that with a lot of the characters. But the My Hero Academia world itself is actually a lot smaller than you thought. As soon as they started branching off and showing, typically the major heroes in Japan, they kind of had to stick to the world, and they limited it a lot because of how broken the quirks were, like the hero from the United States, right? So it was established that it's almost kind of a finite world. It's not like in DC Comics where they have their own cities, or like in Marvel Comics how they have their almost different countries and planets and stuff like that. It was very finite and limited, right? And I really think that the adaptation's great and amazing, but I kind of was still left like, that's it? It's just like, this is the way they defeat All For One. It's just a guy who has an explosion quirk, and it may have been to the case of him being pushed by Izuku, but, it's just like my quarrel of the story is the fact that they just plopped in Bakugo. I feel like they didn't really have a reason or anywhere to go with it, but since they knew the story was going to come to an end and Izuku really wasn't going to be this end-all, be-all, established forever hero, right? He was going to give up All For One entirely. It does make sense that they just have to like snuff this in the butt. But the animation's amazing. I need to make a full video on this, but yeah, this is essentially my opinion on it. When I read the manga the first time, I'm like, that's so weird that they're doing like a power versus power fight here, where it's like, basically like the explosion versus the accumulation and the amalgamation of all these different quirks going head to head, and Bakugo coming out on top, which is really funny because the whole time it felt like he was pushed to the side because of that. Like, he shouldn't have been top dog just because his quirk's like super destructive. But at the end of the day, that's like what won him the entire, like that won him the stakes. That won against the villain, right? I don't know. It just seems, it kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. It seems like he should have, won a different way, or maybe not even had this opponent, had an opponent to push him. But at the same time, it's like he's, going through this euphoria and experience, being able to, showcase this second evolution that he has. So I totally get it, but it's just, My Hero Academia, in my opinion, like the manga has ended for some time. It's just a fucking fumble, bro. Like, it was so good. It could have been so much better, but it was just a fucking fumble and a half. And I mean, now they have amazing animators, amazing studios to take it over. It's good. That's great. We want to see that. We want to eat more. But like, man, it was just, it's kind of sad because now it's like these feelings are coming back watching the anime being, created and kind of reflecting a little bit more of the points that the manga didn't have exactly. And it just still adapting the same feeling and emotion that I have, which is just like, man, they fumbled the fuck out of this. Like the lineup, the hero versus the villain, like it's such a basic story concept, but there's really no in-depth villain anymore. You realize it's really just, they were kind of talking about this in like the second or third movie, that what's the word, the 0 point quark theory, or the theory that eventually there's going to be a quark that is going to just have all these different traits and just become the one all be all. They were already doing that in like fucking movie 3. Like they were already kind of selling themselves short, saying, hey, no, this is gonna, like, it can only go on for so long. The generations of quarks, like the actual theory of quarks in the universe itself, seems to be kind of like within 50 years, and it's like, what the fuck is the point of this then? Like, okay, quarks are just gonna get strong until you're God, basically, and then one person's gonna have that. So I don't know, it just kind of takes away from the all for one aspect anyway, because eventually someone's gonna have, what is it, a doomsday quark theory, it's just wild. I don't know. This video kind of went a different direction than I thought it was going to be, but fuck it. I just wanted to talk about this anyway. Love the animation, great, but dude, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is Bakugo fighting All for One? I still have a problem with that.